There is a kind of exhaustion you never learned how to speak about, a heaviness that doesn't come from lifting anything, nor from running anywhere, but from waking up each day to a life that quietly drifts away from who you were meant to become. It sits in your chest like a stone without a name, and you've tried to outrun it by distracting yourself, by numbing yourself, by pretending you don't feel it tightening around your spirit, but it's there. It always returns. And it's not the tiredness of muscles, it's the tiredness of a man who has not chosen his direction. You live in an age where nothing threatens you, nothing hunts you, nothing forces you to sharpen yourself. Ancient warriors carried scars carved by battles they willingly faced. Modern men collapse under wounds that can't be seen. The world around you feels soft, but your mind is fraying. Musashi called this the spirit leaking through unnoticed cracks. You don't bleed, but something inside you drains. Not all at once, not dramatically, just a slow, steady loss of meaning. You walk through your days like a man carrying a blade he never unsheathed. You hold responsibilities, expectations, doubts, and unspoken frustrations all at once. And because none of them have a clear shape, you cannot fight them. That is the weight of living without a personal code. When you have no internal laws to guide you, everything pulls at you. Every small choice becomes a battle. Every moment becomes a negotiation with yourself. Do not misunderstand this fatigue as weakness. Weakness is the absence of strength. What you feel is the absence of alignment. A warrior collapses not when he has fought too hard, but when he has fought for nothing. This invisible exhaustion is your spirit trying to tell you that something is off. Something is unchosen. Something is unspoken. Listen closely. This weariness has no name because it belongs to the part of you that has not yet awakened. You say you're tired for no reason, but there is always a reason. It's just hidden beneath layers of noise, avoidance, and unfinished truths. You are fighting a war inside yourself, a war without banners, without enemies, without clarity. And because you cannot see it, you cannot win it. Fatigue becomes your only signal. There is a silent drain in carrying potential you refuse to face. You know you're capable of more, yet you remain surrounded by distractions designed to keep you half awake, half alive, half present in your own existence. Modern life wounds you not with violence but with softness. Overstimulation is a dull sword. It doesn't cut, it corrodes. You are overwhelmed, not by threats, but by endless small temptations that scatter your focus and fragment your attention until you no longer know what you're fighting for. Musashi once said, "If you know the way broadly, you see it in all things. But when you don't know your way, you see nothing." Every event feels random. Every setback feels personal. Every desire contradicts another. You become a man split into pieces, each part longing for a different direction. Imagine this. You are defending a fortress you don't even know you own. You stand guard every day, exhausted, confused, unsure of where the attacks come from. Because the enemy is not outside the walls, it is the chaos within them. You are drained because you are divided. You are tired because you are unaligned. The exhaustion you feel is not a sign of failure. It is the cost of fighting battles you never named. Once you see the war clearly, the fatigue begins to make sense. And once it makes sense, it begins to loosen. But clarity requires courage. The courage to look inward without flinching, without running, without lying to yourself. Only then does the invisible battle reveal its shape. Comfort is a seductive poison. It numbs you slowly, gently, quietly, and by the time you realize it has weakened you, years have already slipped through your fingers. You live in a world where everything is designed to be easy, yet you feel heavier each day. The paradox is simple. Modern comfort steals your strength more effectively than any enemy could. When life asks nothing of you, your spirit begins to decay. Ancient warriors grew tired because they pushed the limits of their bodies and minds. Their fatigue created clarity. Our fatigue is born from avoidance. You scroll, you distract, you choose the path of least resistance, and without noticing, you become a man who hasn't carried anything real in years. The soft life looks harmless, but it quietly reshapes you into someone who cannot endure even minor discomfort. You become brittle. You become restless. You become spiritually exhausted. Musashi rejected luxury deliberately. He believed the mind grows dull when the body is cushioned. He traveled with almost nothing, only what he could carry, only what mattered. He understood that discomfort sharpens perception, while comfort smothers it. A blade left in its sheath does not stay perfect. It rusts from within. That is what happens when a man chooses a life without friction. You stop sharpening yourself. You stop testing your edge. You stop confronting the truths that would strengthen you. You feel tired because you have been hiding from the actions that would give you energy. Fatigue isn't always the result of doing too much. Often, it is the result of doing too little that matters. The soft life hardens your spirit in the worst way, not into resilience, but into stagnation. If you wonder why you are exhausted, look at the comfort you cling to. It is not protecting you, it is taming you. And a tamed man is always tired. There is a moment when a man begins to feel broken, but not because anything is physically wrong. It is a collapse that happens behind the ribs, somewhere between hope and resignation. The world continues, as usual, but your inner world begins to dim. You wake up, move through the motions, speak the required words, but something essential inside you has gone quiet. It's not burnout. It's not laziness. It's the slow death of purpose. Physical exhaustion is simple. You rest and recover. Spiritual exhaustion is different. You rest, but nothing changes, because the issue is not your energy. It is the absence of meaning behind the energy. You can sleep for 10 hours and still wake up hollow. You can take breaks, yet feel no relief. You can stop working, yet remain tense. That is the signature of the soul's silent collapse. Dreams rarely die loudly. They fade. They dissolve under the pressure of routine and compromise. They shrink each time you choose safety over growth, numbing over courage, distraction over discipline. Eventually, you look at your own life and struggle to recognize the man living it. Musashi warned of losing the path. The moment a warrior becomes divided in himself, it is not a dramatic event, it is a subtle drift. One day you stop training as hard. One day you silence your instincts. One day you choose comfort over clarity. And slowly, your inner fire weakens until it becomes nothing more than a distant ember. Imagine a temple whose flame has gone out. The structure still stands. The rituals continue, but the sacred heat that once illuminated everything is gone. That is what feeling broken truly means. Your temple has not collapsed, its flame has. This collapse is not a failure. It is a signal, a warning, a moment of truth. The part of you that feels broken is the part that refuses to die quietly. It is calling you back to the path you abandoned. Your exhaustion is simply the echo of a spirit demanding resurrection. Every decision you avoid becomes a ghost that follows you. You think you are avoiding discomfort, but in reality, you are collecting shadows. Each possibility you never pursued, each dream you postponed, each truth you refused to confront, they gather behind you, heavy and silent, dragging at your steps. You are not tired of life. You are tired of unmade choices. There is nothing heavier than potential It presses on your chest because it knows what you could be. It whispers to you in moments of quiet. It shows up as restlessness, envy, loneliness, and vague dissatisfaction. The shadow self, the man you could become, does not disappear just because you ignore him. He waits, he demands recognition, and the longer you refuse him, the heavier he grows. Musashi understood this early. He chose a brutal path, not because he enjoyed hardship, but because he feared stagnation more than pain. He knew the danger of drifting, the slow, corrosive erosion of spirit that comes from living without commitment. He fought battles not just to win, but to prevent his soul from softening. Drifting hurts more than choosing. Decisions carve direction. Avoidance carves emptiness. When you refuse to choose a path, you carry all of them at once. It is like walking through life with every unopened door strapped to your back. You wonder why you are exhausted, yet you drag dozens of unlived lives through every day. Your fatigue is not a malfunction. It is the result of carrying too many futures. You are not meant to hold infinite possibilities. You are meant to choose. A warrior sharpens his blade by focusing it. A man sharpens his life by committing. The weight you feel is not from what you have done. It is from everything you have not allowed yourself to become. There comes a moment when a man must stop adding to his life and begin subtracting. Not out of minimalism, but out of self. You are exhausted because your world is cluttered, not with objects, but with impulses, fears, obligations, doubts, and digital noise. You are pulled in too many directions to walk firmly in one. Musashi understood the power of simplicity. During his travels, he carried only what he truly needed: a few tools, a blade, his discipline. Everything else was excess. He knew that every possession, every desire, every unnecessary thought drained a man's spirit. Simplicity was not an aesthetic, it was armor. Your mind has become crowded with unfinished intentions and overwhelming choices. Your emotional world is tangled in unresolved conflicts. Your digital life is an open floodgate. This clutter is the true thief of your energy. You cannot feel aligned when your inner dojo is filled with debris. Sweep it clean. When you remove the noise, you rediscover the subtle movements of your spirit. When you silence the distractions, you begin to hear your own direction again. Simplicity is strength because it channels your energy into fewer battles, the battles that actually matter. A man who tries to fight everywhere loses everywhere. A man who chooses one direction becomes unstoppable. Your energy is leaking because it has no single flow. It spills into meaningless arguments, hollow habits, and empty screens. But when you choose one path, one standard, one commitment, one inner code, the leaks begin to seal. Simplicity does not make life easier, it makes life honest, and honesty gives you back your strength. Exhaustion is not your ending, it is your threshold. The moment before transformation always feels like collapse. Something inside you is trying to die, not your spirit, but the version of you that can no longer continue. The fatigue you feel is the friction of shedding an old identity. Musashi was not born as the legend, you know. He reinvented himself again and again. He abandoned comforts, destroyed illusions, and rebuilt his discipline from ashes countless times. He understood a truth modern men forget. A warrior is not forged once. He is reforged every time life breaks him. Your exhaustion is a message. You have outgrown the life you're still living. Your numbness is a signal. Your current identity can no longer contain who you must become. Your sense of being broken is not a verdict. It is an invitation to reforge your spirit. You must return to the basics, not the easy comforts, but the rituals that pull you back into your own body and sharpen your awareness, movement, stillness, discipline. These are not motivational cliches. They are ancient practices. A man who moves with purpose awakens his strength. A man who sits in silence confronts his truth. A man who imposes discipline on himself reclaims authority over his life. When you choose a path, truly choose, confusion turns into power. A direction becomes a blade that cuts through fog. A commitment becomes armor against distraction. A standard becomes the fire that shapes your identity. Imagine a shattered blade, useless in its broken state. But when remelted, when reforged in the heat, when hammered, shaped, and cooled with intention, it becomes stronger than before. Its fractures become part of its resilience. Its history becomes part of its edge. That is what you are becoming. You are not tired of nothing. You are tired of the life you've outgrown. You are not broken. You are unrefined. You are standing at the edge of a rebirth you have not yet claimed. The warrior's path is not about perfection. It is about returning to yourself, again and again, with sharper clarity and deeper resolve. You are not here to collapse. You are here to reforge. And when the heat fades, when the shaping is done, when the new edge cools into its final form, you will understand the truth. The exhaustion was not a downfall. It was the fire preparing the blade.